Greetings, one and all, and welcome to yet another story in the Starfall Collective, a collaborative D&D real play where we use the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons rules to make rich and compelling stories. I am this story's host, Joshua P. Suich, and I'm joined tonight by the two most eager and punctual of players, Matthew Talamini and Jared Wilk. Matt, why don't you say hey?
Hi, my name is Matthew Talamini. I'm a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island. You can find my stuff at MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew, Talamini.com. I don't have a character yet for this campaign.
Jared, would you like to say a few words so the folks know who you are, just in case they haven't been with us in previous seasons?
Yeah, my name's Jared, and I am a professional reader of MatthewTalamini.com. That's Matthew TALAMINI.com.
It's ruining Matthew, but Jared refuses to stop clicking. Excellent. Very good, gentlemen. Thank you. It is a pleasure to have you at the table this season, and other folks will be joining us. Sir Robert, Dwight, Jacob, Aaron, Joy, Crossfield, possibly, Patrick, possibly, all have shown interest. But tonight we're going to get a head start with just a couple of our players. But before we get started, I would love the opportunity to read a little intro to you, Matthew and Jared, so that you will be caught up and will be able to make character choices with the kind of larger story context that I'll be bringing in to this season from previous seasons. This season will continue to build upon the storyline of the Elven Empire and the events of the interlude sessions, where Daigo Machi was consumed by a Feywilding, the sudden eruption of Fey magic and forest growth, a result of the extreme surge of magical power drawn by the Feywild construct, piloted by the Aufblitzen, and powered by a volatile satyr artifact. Few escaped the initial Feywilding of Daigo Machi as the extreme violence of colossal trees and vines erupting from the ancient guardian destroyed nearly everyone, including the Tarask and the great evil that summoned it, the Crystal of Mephisto. No one knows if the Feywilding was intentional or not, but evidence of the evil of that ancient lich Mephisto has not been seen for hundreds of years. While the Council of the Moon and the constellation of the Raven Queen argue over how to deal with the Feywilding and looming threat of the return of Mephisto, the Ranger Corps have assiduously quarantined the ruins of Daigo Machi and extracted the survivors who continue to emerge from the gaping wound of a portal to the Feywild. Over the first decades, a few dozen disoriented, described a disorienting scramble through strange Fey forests until they stumbled back out onto the land. Survivors emerged frequently years, and the Ranger Corps and fewer survivors in the last century. The intervening centuries saw the fall of the Rock Gnome Crystal, the Gnome Wars, and the collapse of the Dark Empire of the Elder Brain to the south. Gnomes are an ingenious and prolific arcane engineering people whose technology disrupted the power and peace of the Elven Empire. Orcs desperately competed to enslave the rock gnomes once the potency of their magic was known. Armed with arcane armor and eldritch spears, threatened to breach the borders of the Elven Empire, and a decade-long war ravaged the land. Ultimately, an unlikely pair of heroes, Sorguk and McGee, an orc warlord and a gnome archmage, and an alliance that liberated the gnomes. Soon after the rock gnomes recovered their enslaved kinsmen, they withdrew into the Feywild to the castle of stone and bone, the Osilisk. One of their more distinctive arcane technologies allows them to harness magical energy and souls in certain types of crystals, and so their abuse at the hands of elves and was followed by accusations and demands leveled against them as being responsible for the Crystal of Mephisto, or at least of withholding knowledge to defeat him. Their succession and xenophobia. Which steeled their secession and xenophobia. Not all withdrew, however. Technology have scattered across the land. Gnomish crystal niche frontiers a few dozen mages. Fortunately for all of you, there is a dedicated facility perched atop a towering cliff face. Tragically and criminally insane have one last hope for help at the Highview Sanatorium. So your characters play as patients in the Highview Sanatorium, an immense crystal construct perched on the face of a cliff where a nearly permanent magical dark storm surges and swirls around with hundreds and hundreds of feet of a fall below you and many hundreds of feet above, and immense dark mantles skating and flying around that would pick off anyone who tried to get out. So it's very rare that anyone even tries to escape from the Highview Sanatorium. But why would you? This is a place where gnome crystal magic is used to help people who have not just mental health problems, but magical mental health problems, where they perhaps are under the curse, perhaps their mind is fractured across planes of time and space and whatnot. And this special magic and other forms of magic to try to therapize people. So that's where you'll play. That's the major elements of previous seasons that we're drawing in. I'm happy to answer any questions or clarify things if you want for discussing what types of characters you'd like to build. The one other piece that I will say is that Sir Robert and Matt and I had a discussion, and we decided that we were up for possibly beginning to trickle in dwarven character building options, because there is in the game world for dwarves to very rarely but reasonably pop up in the story. So those are factors to consider as you run wild, run amok with magical imaginations. Anybody have any character build story ideas or questions about the story world that they'd like to start off with? Uh-oh.
Yes.
Did you mute yourself? Okay. Matthew, go ahead.
No longer. What is the most common race in the area where we start?
Sure. So you guys will be starting at the Highview Sanatorium, which is positioned on the southern edge of the Empire. It's actually built into the cliff face, the immense cliff that delineates the southern border of the Elven Empire. And then further to the south would be the lands that of the previous story, the Dying of the Light.
Okay.
So that's the other reason why it's a really terrible idea if you get out, because there are giant, colossal beasts down there. So
it's run by gnomes, though?
It's not. It's run by multiple different species. It's mostly elves. There are a couple of rock gnomes there. There are also some lizard folk anthropologists. I put that in quotes. Folk like to study humans, but much more the way that humans study general nature and whatnot, because the lizard folk and psyche and worldview and just way of processing reality is so different from humans. But in many ways, that provides them a bit of an edge, because they're an objective, and so they notice that humans that maybe even humans wouldn't notice. So
neat. Cool.
Okay.
I'm trying to briefly, because there's a lot more to say, but a lot of that will come out in session 1 rather than session 0. But I'm happy to answer any other questions.
I think elf is going to be my character's race. I think it's hard to pick anything else but that.
And this is for your warlock build that you were considering?
Yes.
Do you have one or more character concepts you want to discuss that?
I didn't have any I was super attached to.
Okay.
I wrote down like 5 or 6, so I just thought I would roll one and see. Just like when a person's born, they don't choose their own gifts. I thought I would just roll it and see what that person should be, and then maybe choose a race after that to fit. See if it fits one of my ideas, or see if it gives me a different idea.
So if you have 6 options, are you going to like roll a die and see which of your 6 options comes up?
No, I thought I would roll the 6 stats, like strength.
Oh, I gotcha.
And those.
Sure.
Josh, would you like
here at session 0?
Would you like me to roll stats? That
would be great. So our stat rolling, you guys are going to be 4d6 and then dropping the lowest and adding those 3 numbers together for each of your rolls.
Okay.
Do you want us to do it in order? Strength and dexterity, then constitution. Okay, thank goodness.
Sadist. I'm a big old softy. Sir Robert is pure of heart and is committed to the art form. But for me, we're going to play it a little fast and loose, and I'll let you guys optimize your builds in terms of stat placement.
Shall I go?
Go for it. Roll the beautiful bean footage.
All right, so we're going to throw out this 3, and I've got a 14 here.
Lies!
Going to throw out this, throw out another 3, and we've got 12. Throw out this 1, and that gives us 13. Pretty middle of the road so far. Oof. 7.
Whoa.
Not great. That's going to be a dump stat.
But that can be like your character.
Yeah.
Strength here we
11. I want to get one that's really. Can I get one that's really good?
You've got a 7, and your highest stat is a 14. I'm going to tell you to scrap that set and re-roll it.
Um, 12. So the numbers I got are 14, 12, 13, 7, 11, and 12.
Please back up 3 minutes in time, and for the first time ever, please roll your stat. Talamini.
Okay, this is very generous, Josh.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing generous about it. You need stat. Stop saying such absurd things and just, for the first time ever, please roll your stats.
Okay, here goes. Should I pick different dice? Are we superstitious about dice?
Different from the ones you used last season?
I'm not superstitious about dice, but I'll pick different ones just in case.
It's a shame you just rolled all the bad numbers out of them.
I was using these little tiny ones.
So one of my
I'll use big standard size ones now.
Nice. Favorite running gags from the Emily Axford, Jake, and Caldwell Tanner gaming group is that they talk about marinating their dice. And put them all on 20 face up, and they'll like set them on the windowsill, let them sit for 48 hours before playing. And they talk about Dice Christ and how Dice Christ, the will of Dice Christ, got him in all of the roles, which is an actual follower of Christ. thrills me to no end to see that even in sacrilege, they acknowledge sovereignty.
I have to tell you, Josh, it's not going a whole lot better here.
Hot garbage. I will say, if you find garbage as well, you're always welcome to use the point buy system.
Okay, we're getting somewhere here. I just got a 17, which is not bad. All right, so I just rolled up 15, 8, 7, 15, 17, and 11.
Wow, that's interesting.
Okay. So some high highs and some low lows. What was your lowest number in there?
7.
Make you a deal. That 7 and 8, and you can keep. And wait, what are your 2 lowest numbers?
2 lowest numbers are 7 and 8.
Okay. Turn that 7 into a 10, and I'll let you keep that set. You don't need to have 2.
No deal.
Wildly. No deal. You want it?
I want to roll them.
All right.
You want me to roll them again?
It's up to you, man. You got a 17. If you're happy with it and you feel like that's a playable set of numbers, I'm happy to play with that set of numbers.
Any set of numbers is playable.
Yeah.
Is there any recording and start over? Just kidding.
This is going out live, Josh.
Okay, tell you what.
Live on YouTube right now.
One character build, and maybe at some point you can roll another set of numbers and make another character as well. Maybe make experimental character concepts if it's not the one you want to play an entire season with. But Jared, you ready to roll some numbers?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, first one is 17.
Woo.
Coming out hot.
Dexterity is 4, 6, 5, 5. So that's 16.
Matt, if you want to have Jared roll your stats for you.
Constitution's 11. Intelligence is 11. Wisdom is 12. So he seems like a athletic fellow.
Beef boy.
And charisma is 11. Okay. Well, that's helpful. So he's really athletic. He's generally, it's going to be a guy, because I don't know how to play girls.
Jared, do you have another microphone? You seem to be much quieter than you were when you started.
Oh,
maybe you just need to
Let's see.
pump up the jam. Pump up the jam. Pump it up.
Is that better?
Say that again.
Can you hear me? No.
We can hear you, but barely.
Weird. Okay. What about this? Is this better? Can you hear me now?
A little bit
It's
better.
still really quiet.
Weird. I accidentally unplugged it and then plugged it back in, and that seems to have changed it. Let's see.
I wonder if that's because it's actually using the computer's mic.
Yeah. It feels like it might have switched to using your computer's onboard microphone instead of the one on your headset.
could always try to drop from the, just hit on your browser window and you can come back in.
I'll try that.
Okay. So, high of a 17 and a low of a 7 and an 8.
Well, I'm definitely putting the 17 into charisma because this is a warlock.
Okay.
Okay. Is this any better? Can you hear me better?
Much better. Yep.
Okay.
You're back.
Way better.
We got you back.
Okay. So I'm trying to imagine this guy, because it's like when you grow up, I think everybody naturally like feels out what they're good at, and they kind of lean on that for solving problems. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they're really good at talking, they talk their way out of problems. If they're really strong, they just kind of like tend towards forcing their way through. But he's strong and nimble, which is like, okay, he could be like a woodsman who's like chopping wood with axes and hunting with a bow or something like that.
Sorry to interrupt, Jared, but Matt, do you mind sending the... Oh, actually, I've got the link here. Is the link in the URL right now the one from Lord Thomas Burbridge if you wanted to join us?
Oh.
Let me see.
I think so. I can copy paste the one that let's see. This is the one that I used to join. I looked up the old link that Sir Robert sent on Slack a while ago. Last year.
Oh, you know what? I've got it. Yeah.
So I feel like if strength and constitution were my two highest, then that would be like, oh, a natural tank. Strength and dexterity seems like a kind of multi-purpose fighter or something like that. I don't know all the classes or what classes we're gonna.
So it's a good start towards barbarian.
Good start towards barbarian.
At least a 12. Yeah. Because with the barbarian, your dexterity and your wisdom add up to define your unarmored defense.
Your wisdom for a barbarian. Oh, that's more like your animal awareness of surroundings. It's not like you read the book of Proverbs.
Right, yeah. This is your intuitive, yeah.
Okay.
More intuitive than intellectual and analytical.
Well, it says, for barbarian, it says primary ability, strength, saves, strength, and constitution.
All right. I just sent LT the link 4 ways. So if he doesn't come, it's because he was pulling away. So you've also got, I mean, obviously fighter is great. Monks,
yeah, it's just kind of
on a lot of different stats. Paladin could be a little challenging because you wouldn't have a very good and that charisma would be your spell casting.
Yeah.
So we'd have to find a way to get that up.
Okay, and let's see. My constitution's 11, so that you have to have certain stats to be certain things, right?
Oh, touche. So you would like to constrain yourself and keep these stats as they are?
Yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to be like, how a real person is. It's just like, well, this is what I'm good at. And I guess I could, I'm giving myself kind of the grace of choosing my race, which is like, well, that could bump up my constitution and my wisdom.
Very true.
That would make my wisdom 13 and my constitution 12 if I was a human.
So which stat were you wanting to bump up at the highest priority?
Well, right now I'm trying to find. Restraints kind of, like in poetry, the restraints can be guiding. I'm trying to find a list of like all the. You have to have a 12 or higher this to be a this.
Gotcha. Well, I've got an excellent page that has all of the racial bonuses broken down. Race. I'm happy to drop that in the chat. So I'll go put that over in the Slack if that's okay.
Okay. My wife is calling, so let me just. She's out right now. I want to make sure she's not stuck or something.
Man, dancing lights is useless. What do I pick dancing lights for? Hold on. Let me just go back a minute. I'm not picking that as my elf cantrip. Picking something that can do a little damage. Let's see. Chill touch. That's a good one.
You got that Eldritch Blast, right? Warlock without Eldritch Blast is like a NASCAR driver without a car. Sure, they could run around the track.
Why is my hit DC +1 for Chill Touch? It's not right.
Yeah. Touch, use your dexterity attack modifier rather than.
Oh, it's my elf cantrip. I think it uses a different modifier from my other stuff. Let's see. One cantrip of your choice from the wizard spell list. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for it. Intelligence is not great. Okay, you know what? We're going to go with something more to the character theme. And pick Mage Hand for that. Yes. All right, Josh. I've just made a sheet for Crocular.
Oh
The
man.
initial K sound is a CH. Crocular. Crocular. Yes. Crocular's got +0 to strength, +3 to dexterity, +2 to constitution, -1 to intelligence, -2 to wisdom, and +3 to charisma. I might need to change that around. I might need to change that around a little bit because apparently I have proficiency in like medicine and perception and religion and arcana. And I have like, basically I have proficiency in a bunch of skills where I actually end up with a +0 in those skills despite having proficiency in them. So it's currently a very inefficient build, and I might need to like give myself some wisdom in order to take better advantage of the warlock proficiencies. It's kind of brutal. But
Jared, you know you're muted, right?
For barbarian, at least for unarmored defense, you get your armor class is 10 plus your dex modifier plus your constitution modifier.
Oh, plus con. I'm sorry. It's dex and con. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was dex and wisdom. That makes sense. So that means that if you just arrange your descending order.
Is that what I did?
I don't know, but if it isn't yet, I think you should, just for the sake of the purity of the concept.
17, 16, 11, 11, 12, 11.
That's fair. That
Okay. All right. Well, I could be a barbarian. Are they good? I have not played one before. So
barbarians are great.
As people, they like flip out and just rampage, right?
Yeah.
I think
they also have great instincts. There are a lot of really cool utilizations that they can wield the biggest weapons. It's an LT.
So Jared, one of my players in my in-person game here in Providence is a barbarian, and he picked the animal totem path, and he got Path of the Eagle. So he actually can do some things that normally only rogues can do. Like, for instance, he can run up to somebody and hit him with an axe and then run away from them without taking an opportunity attack because he's got the special eagle mobility stuff.
Huh.
So, like, there's lots of cool things that barbarians can do if you look into it a little bit.
Okay.
Well, welcome, Lord Thomas, to our little...
Hi.
In the middle of rolling stats and grokking out character concepts. How you doing, my man? Good to have you with us.
Good. Thanks. What's going on? Oh, I got two
Were
screens.
you thinking about playing?
I was wanting to play, yeah. Let me make that thing.
Nice.
Okay. Hey.
Cool.
So,
well, Matt,
can I recount my character that I've just built?
Yeah. I didn't see yours. I saw kind of the beginning of Jared.
Cool. So I just finished clicking through and making all these choices and stuff. So Crocular is an elven warlock.
I don't know if that's a villain or a cereal.
He wears special rubber shoes.
His stats right now are... His modifiers right now are +0 strength, +3 dexterity, +2 constitution, -1 intelligence, -2 wisdom, +3 charisma.
Okay.
So his story, I gave him the hermit background, but his actual story is that he is he's an artist, and he has studied the great artworks of the giants and the great works of the elven civilizations of the past. And he's gone so deep into aesthetics that he went so far, went to the very outer edges, and has made contact with an extraplanar entity of what he thinks is incredible beauty, and which has given him the power to do amazing art. And the way that art feels to other people is sometimes like getting ripped apart by dark tendrils of necrotic energy.
That's what I'm looking for.
But he is fundamentally an artist. And if other people can't appreciate the beauty and the interest of these works, that is their lookout. Philistines.
No doubt. No doubt.
So you basically rolled up Captain Beefheart. I mean, a real...
Yes, imagine Captain Beefheart. Yeah.
With a sword.
Well,
not a sword. With a magic wand. With a short.
And an orb.
Nice.
You ready to roll some stats? Right now, you can either choose between the point buy system, or you can roll 4 dice and drop each stat, and then put them in the order you choose.
I got my 4 dice already. Okay.
Let's do this.
And then put them in order I choose. Let me also write something down. Okay. I got a little foam pad here. Uh-oh. Let's see. So I'm rolling for it and taking the 3 highest dice. Yeah.
And multiplying
13?
them by each other in succession. I'm just kidding.
Oh. I need a hard surface to write on this. There we go. Okay, so 13 was the first one.
Matt's already jealous.
Oh, man. This is a good way to get stats. Unless you're Matt, I guess. 15.
Build it up, baby.
Oh, here's where it goes bad. 9. That's not terrible. Uh-oh. 14. 12. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Let's see. 12, 13, 14. Okay.
15, 14, 14, 15, 12, 9.
Yeah. That's almost like the standard, except a little higher. Okay. So then I just figure out what kind of creature I want to make with that. And I can put them wherever I want. Okay.
Wherever you want. Dealer's choice.
Do you know that we've got no Dragonborn and no Satyrs and no
Murph.
Josh was saying that maybe you could be a dwarf if you wanted to have a super interesting backstory, but dwarves don't really exist in the world.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I'm probably...
because of 2 things. I'll tell you something that your characters would know. First of all, and then really strange might happen in the ether sea that has filled in the hole that the dwarves caused. So the dwarves dug and created such a voided out lattice work of the land that when a star fell and it hit in that area, this massive energy ripple that just not only did that initial hit punch in, but it caused a massive energy surge, kind of fractured all of these thin lattice work supports that were holding. So a hole was blown through the land. I mean, you could come through and see the night sky or day sky on the other side. That filled in over the years. It only took a few years, but it filled with arcane ether. Remember the arcane you saw in previous seasons? These vents that... Okay, so there are these immense, some small, some really big vents that run, perpendicular to the ground, that run down into the ground, and arcane energy spews up out of them. Well, this arc has filled it up. There's an ether sea of arcane ether that's filled it, but it's something that you could survive. And every now and then, a dwarf of the edge of the ether sea, bedraggled, but alive. So that's one way that you could be a dwarf. The other is, you missed it, Thomas. I just read the intro. You'll have to go back and read the session 0 document that's on the campaign description on D&D Beyond.
Okay.
But people, in a previous interlude session, we have events that evolved around falling of a crystal that was something like a phylactery for an ancient evil magic user named Mephisto. And that storyline culminated was that really, really ancient satyr fact got active and created this big green natural fey growth colossus monsters that Mephisto summoned. Well, more and more intense, and the colossus kept getting bigger and bigger. It kept drawing more and more magic power. Well, eventually, something went catastrophically wrong. A hole was ripped between the material plane and the Feywild plane. And so truly, truly apocalyptic levels of Fey energy came erupting into the material plane, and it created a permanent Feywilding. People have been emerging from this Feywilding for years. People who were survivors of people who lived in the city have emerged out. But other people emerged too. So if you wanted to play a dwarf that kind of stumbles out of the Feywild because of some sort of weird time issue with the Feywild, that's one way that you could play it. And in fact, if you wanted to be like one of the few, whatever, if that was just something that, whatever, let's forget that. Dwarves are really those are the race that you could be. Those are the race that you could play. Oh, and Mephisto dwarves at one point, so you could be one of those dwarves that was summoned out of Mephisto's crystal. So anyway, the MI, but those are your options. So
okay.
So Jared, is this barbarian idea growing on you? I'm diverting to Jared, Thomas, to give you some time to think about it.
The thing.
Jared.
Yeah, I'm just reading up on what they can do. I think I'm going to be a human barbarian.
Oh.
That seems like I could be a guy who's like in his 40s and like just gets angry sometimes.
That'll be fun to watch.
Cool.
So we've got a barbarian, a warlock. So we got a beefy boy and a magic boy. So you could be a sneaky boy, a holy boy, if you didn't want to step on any toes. Or you could be the second barbarian in the party. Nothing wrong with having two barbarians. As a monster, it would be fun to have two people with roid rage and great axes chopping at me.
So, rock gnomes now exist. Is that what I'm reading?
That is true. You can play a rock
Okay.
gnome.
Hmm.
I think my guy's kind of racist against elves and sympathetic towards gnomes. It's like he lives out in the woods and he wants people to leave him alone. He's not a hero. But how did he get to this crazy mental institute? And he sympathizes with the gnomes, like, why don't people just leave him alone?
Yeah, what few are left behind are treated. Some people blame their very existence for the wars that ravaged the Elven Empire. So there are a lot of elves that showed up and disturbed a good thing. Others feel, like you were saying, extreme sympathy for them because they were enslaved. I mean, they basically had mass scale violations committed against them because they showed up with this disruptive technology. So there was an instant land grab, kind of a gold rush for them. The two races that ended up successfully obtaining most of the rock gnomes were.
Okay. I also think my guy's going to dislike magic.
It's not magic.
Jared, I think that our characters are not going to get along.
Wait, your guy's what? A warlock. You can
warlock?
A high elf warlock artist.
Oh yeah, probably not.
A super hoity-toity muckety-muck.
Oh man.
Head in the clouds intelligentsia with books instead of rope and matches.
With an intelligence of 8.
Very little intelligence. Like pretending to be smart. Very low actual intelligence. Very low wisdom. Lots of charisma.
So he brags about reading the Twilight novel series.
Hey, so let me ask you guys this.
He's well read in all the most important and current philosophical texts and will name drop the authors. Of course. Does he understand what in the heck he's talking about? No. But he might look like it to some.
Charisma bonus that high, you just might fool people into thinking you've read them.
Yeah, +5 deception over here.
Oh man.
Yikes.
Hey, so let me ask you guys this. For proficiencies, when you choose your proficiencies, should I think of that as like stuff my guy's naturally good at or stuff my guy has decided I'm going to get good at these and has practiced them?
A little more the latter.
Practice? Okay. So that could be like an indicator of lifestyle.
Yeah. So like especially when it comes to things like tools, your proficiencies control whether you can even use it at all. So like if you're proficient with leatherworking tools, yeah. But then with other stuff, it just gives you a higher number.
So LT, you're thinking about playing a rock gnome.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So what am I looking to do here? I guess.
Have you pulled up? Okay, so sent a link campaign in Slack. When you click on that link, it will.
I get the Jade Odyssey.
Yes.
And it tells me about the Feywild and the Council of the Moon.
Yep. Do you see somewhere down on the page where it says that you can create a character?
Yeah. So what I'm wondering is what... I guess I'm kind of wondering what we're going to do, so I know what kind of person should be there, or should I just make up a dude and you'll drag him into a story?
So you'll see that the last of the introductory text for the campaign informs you that you are a patient at the Highview Sanatorium.
Aha.
So we will establish what particular brand of crazy you are, but
Gotcha.
just know that you will probably be deprived of your implements. You'll have a nice white cotton tunic, but that's not
with
to say that
long
I'm going
sleeves.
Yeah. It's not to say that you'll be adventuring in that and I'll be sadistically limiting you in that way. That's just a starting point. But yeah, make it
Okay.
if you're playing just know that the most of your people left the material plane and withdrew where they have built a empire city. Like they're basically built a single megalithic structure of stone and called Obelisk, and so they are, guns out, don't set foot on my property, phobes, because of the previous racial mistreatment. But there are a number of rock gnomes that have chosen to mind and choose forgiveness, choose to explore this world where they fell. So you can
Or
be
got stuck in a sanatorium.
anywhere on the spectrum. What's that?
Or got stuck in a sanatorium.
Or got stuck in a you probably didn't choose this life, but yeah.
Right.
And Rock Gnome, you may have been the victim of some sort of arcane research accident involving crystal technology and whatnot. So that's a good hook for you. And in fact, a lot of the most powerful magic that Highview Sanatorium has is in fact Rock Gnome technology. So you could even be somebody who previously worked there and yourself, and now you're a patient. Who knows?
I'm gonna go and play with some settings.
Manage to build a character, and you're in D&D Beyond in the character building phase. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm building a secondary character for when my warlock dies.
What was his name? Krakenstock?
I forget. Crocular.
Yeah. It's like ocular and croc.
I like that. Crocular. That's
CH.
good.
It starts with a CH.
Crocular. A board game called Crokinole. It's a circular board, be about a yard wide. Possibly. And so you've got 2 different concentric circles. The smallest of the concentric circles has like 6 or 8 pegs sticking out of it. So there's a lot of obstruction, But from a little arc of the outer board is your arc that you start from. Somewhere on there, and you're trying to flick it and get it to land exactly in the center. And if it falls into the center slot, you immediately pop it out and get a point. You go into like billiards, croquet rules. You're trying to like flick it. It's really probably more like bocce. You're trying to take your piece and flick it and get their piece to go flying off the board and let your piece fall in. It looks cool. I really want to build a board and try to play. That is spelled with a K, though. Crokinole. Where's it? No. Crokinole. Looks like a great game for kids, too. Gosh, that's such a good name. Well done, Matthew. Have you started thinking of barbarian names?
Well, I'm not going to be like someone who wears skins and, has war paint. I think I'm just going to be some like old guy who lives out in the woods and just
A
like
hermit.
gets really angry sometimes.
There's a hermit
Like
or an outsider.
Okay.
Or background.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will check that out.
Yeah. That's another place where you get proficiencies is from your backstory. So after building your character, if you find that there's a gap in your proficiencies, you could always do a custom and you can build your own, or you can choose one of the existing ones that will help you fill the gaps.
All right, I'm going to roll
character build.
I'm going to roll up some stats for my secondary character.
You should do
Nice.
it. You should do it. 9
Yeesh.
times as much content that I wanted to put into the campaign premise document. And I was like, I can't do that. He's going to care about all the things I imagined. Nope.
That's pretty good. What is that? 15? 16, 7, 11, 13, 12, 15.
It's a good stat block.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
low and a bunch of other really solid ones. That's good.
I think I switched that 15 into con.
By the way, here's a little sneak preview for all you cool kids that showed up on session 0A. This season, I thought we might try playing with the Pathfinder cards critical hit deck. So when you roll a critical, to allow me to draw a card and experience sort of random special effect from your crit, besides just plain old double damage.
That's fun.
Yeah. If any of them don't apply, we'll just pull a different one.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. So, for example, on this one, there are 4 different effects for 4 different damage types: bludgeoning, / magic. So, if it was a bludgeoning crit, you'll do a skull crush. You'll do double damage and 2d6. If you're doing piercing damage, you stab them in the hand. You do normal damage and 1d2 damage or penalty on all rolls using that hand until healed. Broad swipe with slashing, normal damage, and 1d8 tragic, because that means that he's going to keep taking that 1d8 round after round. Healing potion or a medicine check, and then lingering magic, normal damage this round and half damage each round for 1d4 rounds. So for 1d4 rounds, you'd be nerfing his magic. Pretty cool. That looked like a neat way to make things a bit more narrative. So, Thomas, have you started leaning towards any particular?
Yeah, I'm thinking a wizard. Wizard. And he's convinced that he's a dwarf.
Yes.
And he's just been shrunk down permanently by some evil nemesis.
By his nemesis.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your character's name?
I'm working on that.
Okay. I need to start taking some notes here. Need to honor the creative input here.
I'm hitting the randomize button, and some of these are really funny.
You would. Let's see.
All right, Thomas, I'm going to start reading out names. Here's one that you want to be the name of your nemesis. Are you ready?
The nemesis? Okay.
Angel Slayer, Whitewash, Cyclone, Vex, Discord, Inferno, Safari, Recluse, Nashville Psycho, Optic Nerve, Blink, Patch Galactic, Blackout, Shivers, Buttons, Rundown. Say what?
Did you say Moose at one point?
No,
his name's
that would be fine.
Moose? Giant antlers?
Yeah.
Moose.
Yes.
Okay. Moose it shall be.
I think my guy's name is Waggletop.
How about Hinkle Dinkle? I mean, come on. That's a great gnome name, actually. Waggletop is great. All right. Your character is Waggletop.
I mean, that's just what everybody calls him. His dwarf name is... I'll figure that out.
Okay, so my
name is Beard.
Say again?
His dwarf name is Thickbeard.
Thickbeard. Yeah. Okay. I take it your face is like baby butt smooth.
No, he has a beard.
Okay.
He's trying to be a dwarf. He's just tiny.
But, I mean, gnomes are famously known for only being able to grow a goatee.
Okay, done. He has a very gnomish goatee.
Yeah, you've got a little crisp Van Dyke, and you refer to yourself as Thickbeard. That's lovely. Okay, all right.
Little mustache.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Stereotypically gnomish.
So I've just created my backup character, who is Alexander. And Alexander is a human fighter with a criminal background. I think that he has wound up in this sanatorium not because of being insane, but because of having done something. And maybe it was complicated. There was organized crime involved or something. So he couldn't get put through the regular criminal justice system. And he got sent here instead.
Very good. I have an idea about so don't tell anybody what you did.
Okay. Oh, no, it's a omerta. I'll take my secret to my grave.
What languages should I speak besides Dwarvish?
Elvish,
in the area, yeah, Elvish.
Elvish.
Halflings are around common, or I mean, we don't have common, but there have been in the game, in this world in the past, there have been lizard folk and giants, and we've had some contact with the Underdark a little bit. So the possibility of deep speech exists. Right, Josh?
Correct.
We haven't really had any celestial or infernal contact such that those languages would be very common at all, nor any of the elemental languages.
Jared, did you ever find the hermit loose or some related background?
No, I didn't.
No rush.
I only see a list of acolyte, criminal, folk hero, haunted one, noble, sage, and soldier.
Did you create a character after clicking the join campaign link?
Yeah.
You should have more background options available.
Oh, maybe I turned off some sources.
Okay,
Magic the Gathering and Aberrant content. Should I put those back on?
Magic the Gathering shouldn't matter.
Eberron?
Yeah, sure. But most of it is just from all of the splat books that we've purchased. Not splat books, but just some of the core books that we've purchased, and any IP that I've got available on my account, which we share. Any join a campaign that is being run through my account, you'll have access to all the books that I've got. Let me just make sure. You know what? I may need to change some settings.
Okay.
That's on my end, I bet. I think I know what it is. Give me a sec.
So you guys are both wizards? Matt
I'm
and
a wizard.
LT are...
He's a warlock.
Cool.
We are not the same. He does magic because he understands how it works. I do magic.
He made it off the devil.
I'll be right back.
Through reaching out into dark nether realms with my heart.
Wait, are you still Diamondback?
Diamondback sort of wanted to be a warlock, didn't he?
Okay. Like he would have become a warlock with Arasanala.
Yeah.
As his patron.
Yeah, that is something that I might have done if that had happened in the campaign I was running, because I might have offered a player like me running a character like Diamondback the option of taking any new levels as warlock levels, like multi-class.
Okay.
But Sir Robert was sort of homebrewing some stuff for that.
Yeah.
For that game, which was good.
Like, how heavy do you think a guy with 17 strength would be? Are there tables for that?
There are tables for height and weight when you're generating NPCs in the Dungeon Master's Guide. But I think as a player, as long as you stay within the bounds that the race specifies, or get permission from Josh.
I'm just curious, like, okay, how do I attach a 17 strength to, like, the world that I live in and what that would mean?
By yourself out in the woods, you could always say that you, for some reason, are constantly dragging really large animals because you make a living hunting really big animals, and once a month once a week you sell meat in town, or maybe you're a lumberjack and you're constantly dragging around big trees. big rocks. Maybe you're just a big.
Or can I frame
Yeah,
it
please
for
go
him
for
another
it.
way? What's your strength athletics bonus modifier thing?
Okay.
Man, if you
My
take proficiency in
athletics bonus.
athletics, you're going to be gnarly.
Oh, that's not my modifier. Do you think you should do athletics? Is that really good for barbarians?
I was just going to use it. I was just going to use it for an example.
Yeah, I mean, typically speaking,
+3.
Your strength
4
to the party.
Okay, cool. So with a +4 modifier on athletics, think of some activity that 20% of people in the real world would never be able to do. Right? Like there are some things that some people just can't do, like climbing up a wall. There are probably 20% of people in the world that just can't climb up a certain wall, right? For your character, there is nothing in the world could stop you from climbing up that wall. You're 20% stronger. They're like 20% more tasks than normal people could do, you can do. So like if you find the task that exactly 50% of people can do and 50% of people can't do, like you're 20% more than that. Your center point is 20% higher. So also another way to think of it is if you think of like some tasks that only the strongest people in the world can do, like the strongest person in the world has a 5% chance of being able to do this like ninja warrior challenge, right?
Yeah.
You have like a 25% chance of being able to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're among like that's how much stronger you are than like a normal person.
Okay.
Okay. I have a character made.
Holy cow. I have 140 villain names here. Villain names. All right. So, Thomas, you're built. You're good to go. Now, feel free to go ahead and build another character because in the first chapter, we're going to be bouncing around with a couple of different characters. I'm not going to say anything about how or why, but if we go ahead and build all those now, we'll be able to fluidly use them as we the game.
Okay, doke. 8.
Should we have 2 extra characters?
Ideally, 3 characters is what I'm really shooting for here. So if you want to make a third character.
This one's great. 8, 9, 5.
Holy cow!
17.
It's good at something. 5. Wow.
7.
Please make this guy a wizard. Make this guy a little wizard who's just only got a 16 intelligence. Oh, okay, all right. You got 2 good stats.
Okay. I think I'm just going to use them in that order. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's a wizard again, or possibly a warlock. Oh, with a 5 for Constitution. That's terrible. He might die from leveling up.
Holy cow, man. You have a disease.
Yeah.
Josh, you wouldn't let me have stats that bad. You made me throw them
It's
out.
just tragically bad. That's hilariously bad. This guy's dying of Lou Gehrig's disease. Yeah, Thomas, if you'd like to set and draw another one, you may.
No.
It would be fun to play one that bad, though.
His name is Worm, and for some reason everybody likes him, but he's dying. He's got syphilis thing.
He just needs to be careful.
Yeah.
Which I think you could
Really?
do pretty well.
Really careful. But, you know, that's the conceit of one of the original Dragon. You got two brothers, one of whom is a wizard.
Or an orderly at the play. He's an orderly. At the sanitarium. Human orderly.
It's fair enough. Fair enough. You're more than welcome to play an orderly.
Should I do variant human or regular human? Doesn't matter.
Human will give you a little more cushion over. I think you get you like a different way of your bonus and a feat.
Yeah. Because regular human gives you a bunch more bonuses to your stats. Can't have that.
What's the least beneficial race to play?
Here, I'll grab my foot too.
Actually, yeah, variant human gives you just 1 plus 2 plus 1s, but then you get a feat.
Who runs the sanitarium? Yeah. I mean, but like, is it an elf thing or a... I'm trying to figure out what language to take.
It's multiple races, Elven and Common.
Elven is the dominant.
Yeah, Elven kind of.
Okay.
We've made the conceit that Elven is common, at least in this part of the world. Certainly, economic, military, political dominance has been established for thousands of years by the elves. So, for all intents and purposes, Elven is another language that is common in our game world.
Okay.
What do I do if I have, if I've just rolled pretty high strength, incredibly low dexterity, and very high intelligence?
Sounds like a paladin to me.
Paladins don't use intelligence, do they? They use wisdom? Charisma?
They use charisma. Yeah, that's interesting. That's it. You can be an artificer. Artificers own weapons, make their own armor. Arcane blacksmith engineer.
Can I pick the lucky feat?
You can pick the yeah, you can pick the lucky feat. Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't...
Dude, you have to. That's the only thing keeping you alive.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
How do you get a feat at level 1?
Variant human.
Variant human.
Oh.
That's how you get a feat.
The stats, you get 2 pluses and a feat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jared, if you'd like to choose that instead, so that you can take a feat that makes you, better with a big weapon or something like that to flesh out your concept.
Okay. Okay, so I just rolled this second. My first character is Ivan, the woodsman. The second character, I'm
Can we
just doing
spell
the
it
same way.
Aevan? diphthong. Is that okay? Just so we
Sure.
can make it a little
Yeah.
fantasy. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
This other is strength 13, constitution 11, intelligence 14, wisdom 17, charisma 10.
Okay.
So wisdom's the dominant stat, like cleric or
Druid.
monk.
Oh,
Druid
yeah.
also.
Okay, so you've got a great stat set there, so you're right. Well, yeah, that would make a killer battle cleric, like actual like tank cleric. That'd make a great druid. I mean, you can play anything with that set, except for obviously a charisma dominant.
Yeah.
You can play a monk. I'm trying to think of classes that we didn't have in the last season.
Anything fighty?
Name him Fighty?
Anything fighty you didn't have, really.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
What level should we start at?
So that was something that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Okay.
I was thinking about you at level 3, because at 3 you're not super powerful, but you do have some interesting things kind of right away. But you don't have so much that it'll be difficult to keep track of everything that you can do. If we start at level 1, then we do a very rapid initial leveling to get you guys up, and then we'll get up to level 3 or 4. But I'm open to just want to do that. Any thoughts? Any strong preferences?
I'm happy to do it.
Whatever fits this.
Yeah.
It sounded like, is it a significant part of the story that we are like, we've been brought here because we have some reputation as like small scale, promising do-gooders?
Yes. So somewhere in the 3 to 5 range is an appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say there are some this facility that are very high level and are in much higher regions of the facility than you guys will be in. But yeah, probably level 3 I'm thinking, but if everybody wanted to start at 1, I was okay to make that work. But 3 is probably your target starting point for story curve, power curve.
Do you want us to level up to 3?
3. Let's start these characters at level 3. Because like Jared said, there's a reason why you're in here, presumably.
Should we take away the starting items that we have? Have we had all of our possessions taken away?
You have, yeah.
So we should not have anything in our inventory.
You can have a trinket. You can have, that
has
like,
no sharp objects.
What's that, Matt?
Can I keep my orb, which is my spellcasting focus?
Your orb, which is your spellcasting focus. Interesting.
Because otherwise I'm going to pick component pouch. And in that case, can I have my component pouch?
You can either have the orb, but it's got some sort of arcane sigil that's been stuck to it, activating, or you can have your pouch, but the pouch will be empty.
Oh, I want my orb.
Yeah.
It was always an orb.
Can I just have my wood chopping axe? It's therapeutic.
You can have the haft. You can have the haft of it.
Deal. My favorite handle.
Yeah. One high quality hickory ash handle, please.
Guys, I don't So I just bought this house, right?
Yeah.
And I keep, you know, you buy a new house, you find weird stuff in there. And one thing that I just found very recently was there's a workbench in the basement, which has been really useful. Great
Nice.
workbench.
That's cool.
Wonderful. But underneath of it, hanging from the top like lip, on the lip there's a nail stuck in, and hanging from the nail such that the hole is too small for it to be removed from this nail, right? So it was put there and the nail was driven in through the hole, right? It doesn't come off. Is a hatchet. There's just a hatchet hanging from this workbench, like an old hatchet.
That's been nailed to the workbench.
It's been nailed to the workbench. It doesn't come off. Doesn't come off.
Not with that attitude.
That's weird.
You'd have to crawl underneath with a hammer and pull the nail out in order to get this hatchet. So I'm just gonna leave it there for now because
yeah,
it's a little bit
what?
mythical.
Yeah, that's an artifact, man. That belongs to your house, not to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Start thinking of it as you're doing stuff to the house, not for you, but for your house.
I definitely am. Just because
Have you thought of it as like Bookington Estates or whatever?
no, this room has a name and it's called the Wizard's Tower.
Yeah, this is the.
I need to get appropriate wallpaper for the Wizard's Tower. This wallpaper present is not. But I don't know. The house has a name. It's 244 Woodbine. I don't know. Should I roll? When I level up to level 3, it gave me a fixed value of HP. Do you want us to roll our level up HP or do the fixed value?
So your first max value of the die, and after that, it's up to you. You can either choose to do the fixed value at each level, or you can roll for it.
I'll leave it how it is.
Okay.
Now I have to choose some Eldritch invocations. Fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue me with an abiding magical ability. Let's see, are there any of these that let me cast spells without my orb?
So something you should know. Anybody in the facility who is a magic user is going to have sort of magical restraining device on them. If you're extremely strong, think kind of Island of Dr. Moreau, you're not going to be at a 10 strength. You will be as strong as you are. But if you do something, use your strength to hurt another or an orderly, there will be consequences. And you've seen people who, you know, do violent things and then they come back. They just have a 1,000-yard stare for the next 72 hours, and it kind of scares the wee willies out of people because nobody can really remember what they do to you. You just know that they get in there and do a real hard reset on whatever's going on. The orderlies are very kind. They're mean. It's not like they're, you know, doing evil experiments. They genuinely help you, but violence against fellow inmates and fellow patients and staff members treated lightly. So LT disappeared. Did he say anything to you guys about?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just texting him, you gone for the night. So I've been thinking about this, and I think that since we're building these three characters for the of having everything rolled up and ready to go, rescind my previous statement and say you should go ahead and have standard starting equipment for a level 3 character. I think starting characters, what, 100 gold or something? That is that? Do you remember?
It's in the thing. I forget.
Starting gold guide. Well, let's just do this. Go to starting gold.
Okay. I think I'm going to be a cleric because that seems useful.
It is.
Healing people and elves are the dominant species.
Mm-hmm.
And humans are kind of outsiders, more like rugged frontier.
There's a entire nation that are predominantly barbarian. They've got every class and race, not race. They've got every class in there, but the majority be a little more barbarian for a number of reasons. That if you're one of them, I'll tell you secrets about them, but not everyone would know.
And the main, there's like 6 gods.
So there's groups of orcs. There's Karen,
No way.
which we haven't really tied
Karen.
to a race particularly. Oh no, the Nothics. Karen's avatar race or the Nothics. There's who is willing to patronize and work with anybody who has a real hunger for violence and vengeance. Those are kind of the more evil-ish, or at least, severe. And then there's Palor. There's Oberon. So Palor is the main human good god. Oberon is the main good elven god. And then we haven't really established if there are any gods that the halflings or the gnomes worship. So now that the gnomes are here, it's entirely possible that there's a new god of magic, or the gnomes themselves particularly. So if we want to work out some of that canon, we can.
And let us not forget the minor gods. Pan.
Oh, I'm sorry. And one other, minor, he's just a faded. He's kind of a on the back 40, but so Pan, and then Boiret. Boiret is the god of Fae and Fae crossing and transition. Make a lot of sense for you to be a cleric of Boiret, especially if you're playing a gnome or anything.
And Graumsh has 2 sons, minor gods in the pantheon, but one of them is named Chab.
I remember hearing about him.
One of them is named Carlton.
Not Carlton.
Yes, Carlton.
Okay.
Also has a number of that are available as demigod focuses. There's of navigation, Rhacophorus, of intimacy, Chiromantis, of palmistry, Macrixelis, fertility, Ranito, of assassination, Ufaga, of bardic performance, and Thoba, fancy. Think like Skyrim, Thoomsh, word magic.
Okay. If I'm going to be a cleric, should I just choose the life domain? It looks like that's the only option.
That should not... See, something's wrong. You should have a lot more domains available to you. Let me... What's going on here? So, let me... Dang, that is super frustrating. We need to get that fixed.
It might be because it's... Oh, because... Or no, you did your own...
Wait, did I just read you Pon's kids? Yeah, those are all Boirets.
Oh, you said Pan.
Sorry, those are Boiret's children. Pan has a number of kids as well that I've got built, but none of those are really... Yeah, none of those are really particularly appropriate. So, yeah. Dang. All right, let me just try to figure out what's going on with your. All right, so your class. Oh, that's for Ivan. That's not the one I want. Now, did you make this by following that link?
Yeah, again.
Create a character. Okay.
It's okay, so but I haven't like finished walking through doing stuff, so maybe you don't see it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see it yet, but
Okay.
got Alexander, Amok, and Worm. On Alexander right now, or somebody else who you haven't finished up?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Alexander's not him. That's mine.
Oh, okay. It's super frustrating. You should have a lot of domains available to you.
I'm actually I actually thought twice and felt inclined to do a monk, so I'm going to do that.
Okay. Do it. Dude, I beat the ever-loving snot character with my monk. Like, we went toe-to-toe with his character and mine at the same level.
What was his?
Holy frickin' heck are monks levels. I stunned a flippin' dragon.
What was it? Sorcerer? I had them make. This was me dungeon DMing, right?
Yeah, we were like level 15.
Wow.
I wanted to go into the deep past and have them play out like an ancient legend from the dawn of time and make high-level characters to battle each other. And I think Josh definitely won the like physical contest, but they were fighting over something. Mm-hmm. And so Robert cast some sneaky spells that made it so that his character like technically won. Although he was like half dead.
Were I a petty and quarrelsome, I would say that that's revisionist history. He snatched victory out of my hands by giving Sir Robert a magical handwave plot device, but you know, I'm not. So
Good job, Josh.
It was really hard not to. I almost did.
Okay.
It was fun. I do not play D&D to win.
Plane.
Yeah.
He went into the ethereal plane or something. I forget what it was.
And just too soon. And that was the very, very, very last moment where Sir Robert's character was able to pull out because I fainted too early and he basically dodged my feint. Or he didn't fall. He didn't react to my feint. And so I was not able to pursue him and just use some magical ability to prevent me from getting the MacGuffin. What were we fighting over again?
I forget.
Were we both? Were we Dragonborn? Was I Dragonborn? Were we Born? Shoot, the characters should still be out there under the things. All right. This is really bugging me. You really should not be not seeing other domains available to you. You could share your screen with me.
I think you can.
Let's see. Share.
Jared. Before you share your screen, since we are streaming on Twitch, make sure that there's nothing personally identifying on your screen that you're going to share.
Okay.
This is going out live to the whole internet. We have probably 0 viewers, but
okay.
It's also going to get recorded and it's going to stay online, so
Okay.
Just as a caution.
Thanks.
Nice. Okay. So under class.
Okay. I chose monk, and I guess for the monk, it's the monastic tradition. There's just
way of open hand. Okay. And this guy's name, this character's name?
I haven't gotten to the naming him yet. This is my second guy who's just...
Okay, if you go to home...
Yeah, maybe it's possibly the first one, but oh yeah, right here.
Okay, so
I haven't chosen...
Do you mind just calling him like Hank or something for the moment, and we'll change it later? I just want to be able to make sure that I'm looking at the right character on D&D.
Okay.
That's great. And then if you hit what's next, you should be able to back and everything. But like, yeah, just hit view character sheet, because I know by the time you do that, it finishes building it. Really, every change that you make is being saved as you make it, which I like. I like that you don't have to hit the save button anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
You can go back to edit character and.
Okay. Let's see. Do I do manage?
I go to it, I can see Way of Mercy, Way of Shadow, Way of the Ascendant Dragon, Way of the Astral Self, Way of the Drunken Master, Way of the Four Elements, Way of the Kinsai, Way of the Sun Soul. I'm going to change it to Way of the Ascendant Dragon just for right now, and then I want to see if you can see that change.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so I've done that and I've jumped out of it, so I'm no longer in there making changes. See that change. Noticed that sometimes there are some time delayed or maybe like session refresh delayed changes. Is that how many options do you see under your monastic tradition now?
Oh, now 2. That one and the other.
Arf. Tell you what, try doing this. Try closing D&D Beyond, and then opening it back up.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. He's on there. He's on character on the campaign. Yeah, there's Hank. By the way, if you are going to play a monk, you are welcome to play as a member of the Order of the Jade, which was the monastic order that Dwight was a member of in the Big Trouble.
The first one.
Big Trouble in Little Fujidome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am totally game for that. Does that mean something about my background? That I am a acolyte?
Yeah, it just means that that's the particular order that you belong to. You would have been trained by the Order of the Jade Throg. Throg is a magical being that has, very deep and deeply contested lore to it, and they're weird, man. They're like, I don't know how much I want to tell you. You'll find out in the game world.
Okay, well, I guess I don't need to share my screen, huh?
They're
Anything
terrifying.
else with that, or?
Yeah. So let me tell you this for you. Seeing as how I can change monastic focus, do you want me to for one of the other ones for you?
Sure. I don't know what they are, so I would explore them, or if being part of that one that we already had means something. I joined the only monastery around, and they happened to do this style of martial arts.
Within the Order of the Jade Throg, you can I don't know the dragon send it thing, but yeah. Monastic traditions. Here, let me do this. Let me share my screen with you.
Yeah.
Open system preferences, Chrome tab, security and privacy, Google Chrome. Whoa, okay, I can't do that because I'll have to quit recording in order to do that. So I'll copy the text and just send it to you.
Okay.
Let me email this to you because this is a pretty hefty little chunk of text. LT said that he had to take a call. And that's why he had to drop.
Yeah, businessman.
Oh, man. All right, we're coming up 10 here. Any other pressing business that really need to be attended to tonight?
Not for me.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So hopefully, Jared, if you like maybe check in an hour on D&D Beyond or maybe tomorrow or something, because I think sometimes there are settings that seem to be or cached, and then it takes a little while for some of the intermediate servers to process those settings. And since I just made this campaign a little bit earlier tonight, that may be what's going on. It just seems like there's a mismatch between the permission sets, and it just takes a little bit of time for them to get migrated down to the characters on the campaign. So I would bet dollars to pesos that if you check in on Hank or whoever tomorrow, that you'll see all of the monastic traditions on him. I've seen this before, so
Cool.
'Tis a bug. .com. I'm sorry, it's an alleged bug. I'm not saying it is. I'm not slandering your software. I'm just saying it's an observed phenomenon. This is merely an observation of my own personal merit and not the opinion of the Starfall Collective or its subsidiaries. Future. Whew. I really have. Are all copacetic? I might go ahead and call this 9:42 because I have a daughter who wants me to take her to Walmart. Crazy hair materials and implements. Hair look insane for a crazy hair day at school tomorrow. So I was thinking about getting her a traffic cone and then just like wrapping all the hair around the traffic cone. So she looks like one of the Tom Arnold or something.
Nice. That's a good idea.
Yeah. She didn't like it. I thought it was a great idea.
Oh. Cool. Well, thanks.
Cool. Have fun.
Appreciate it.
Do you